welcome to
Anne's
and
and
Cat
Cat
Vlogs.
Vlog.
Hello everyone! Today, we're going to discuss to you about the foreign exchange of a particular country that we chose if it is either undervalued or overvalued.
But before that, let us first start in knowing over what is the Big Mac Index, undervalued and overvalued all about. So let's start. So let's start first with the Big Mac Index. So according to economist.com, the Big Mac Index was invented by the economists in 1986 as a light-hearted guide to whether currencies are at their correct level. It is based on their theory of purchasing power parity, or PPP, the notion that in the long run exchange rates should move towards the rate that would equalize the prices of an identical basket of goods and services in any two countries. Burgernomics was never intended as a precise gauge of currency misalignment, merely a tool to make exchange rate theory more digestible. Yet, the Big Mac's Index has become a global standard, included in several economic textbooks and the subject of dozens of academic studies. So the next one is undervalued currency. So according to Economic and Social Commission for Western Asia, undervalued currency is a currency with an exchange rate lower than it ought to be. A currency may be undervalued, for example, when its purchasing power, supply, and demand are all strong, but its price is still comparatively low. Some governments keep their currencies undervalued deliberately because it makes their exports less expensive, but this is usually an unsustainable policy. So, what is overvalued exchange rate? So, according to Economics Hub, an overvalued exchange rate implies that a country's currency is too high for the state of the economy. An overvalued exchange rate means that a country's export will relatively expensive and imports cheaper. An overvalued exchange rate tends to depress domestic demands and encourage spending on imports.
Since we have already shown you the meaning of the three, let us now proceed with the Big Mac Index of our chosen country. So we chose the US dollars as our base currency, and we're going to compare it to the Chinese yuan. So to get the overvalued currency, we need to compute the overvaluation of currency of the two countries. Let's refer to this table. With the given price of the Big Mac in a country and the current exchange rate, we can now easily work out the implied purchasing power parity, or PPP, of the dollar. But before that, let us first discuss on what is PPP, or purchasing power parity, all about. So, a purchasing power parity is a theoretical exchange rate that allows you to buy the same amount of goods and services in every country. So, let us now start computing the PPP. We divide column 1 in the table by the US Big Mac price. So, let's take China as an example. If we divide 22.40 yuan, or the price of the Big Mac in China, by $5.66, or the price of the Big Mac in the US, then the implied purchasing power parity is 22.40 over 5.66, which will now be equal to 3.96. Since we are now already done in finding the implied PPP, we can now work out the under or over evaluation of the currency by comparing the implied rate that we got from the Big Mac with the actual rate. Right after computing this next part of the solution, we can now determine if the two countries' currency is either undervalued or overvalued. So the under or overvaluation is column 3 minus column 2 over column 2 and then multiplied by 100. So again, let us see it for China. So we've got 3.96 minus 6.48, that is equal to negative 2.52, then divided to 6.48, that is equal to negative 0.38, and lastly, multiply it by 100, which now leaves us to negative 38.9. So according to the Big Mac Index, at this moment in time, the Chinese yuan is 38.9% undervalued against the US dollars. To summarize it all, a Big Mac costs 22.40 yuan in China and US dollars 5.66 in the United States. The implied exchange rate is 3.96. The difference between this and the actual exchange rate, 6.48, suggests the Chinese yuan is 38.9% undervalued.
And that's the end of our discussion. I hope that you have learned some new ideas from us. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye.